Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Laura. I am doing this as my first video for YouTube. Just going to talk about, in general, day-to-day life. I'm currently pregnant with our first child. I am 32 weeks and 1 day today. I want to talk about a few things that have came up in my pregnancy that may come up in yours. I'll only be documenting, of course, the last 8 to 10 weeks, depending on when I go into labour, which is more likely to be later than earlier, due to it being my first baby. So I live in Scotland with my husband, who is from Newcastle, and I have 2 rescue huskies that are 6 years old, brother and sister, called Theo and Kira. I currently have had quite a tough pregnancy. I have a condition called fibromyalgia, which makes things a little bit more complicated. However, I'm kind of getting there now. So I'll just move on from talking about me and just kind of get into this 32-week update. So a few strange things happened this week. I spent a bit of time in hospital because of what I thought was my waters breaking, and what the midwife thought were my waters breaking. However, it turned out not to be. So I had, from the Monday up until the Wednesday, I had this small kind of trickling or leaking, but it was just kind of maybe once or twice a day, which was unusual for me. And then I went out to do my usual dog walk with the dogs and kind of soaked myself through, and it was a bit of a shock. So I called up my midwife team who are in Midlothian, and they just suggested that I contacted the triage 24-hour department, which I did. They said it was kind of unusual for you to, because I thought I was wetting myself, be wetting yourself for your first pregnancy. Normally that kind of happens later on. So just to come in, just to be sure. So I am giving birth in the Borders, not in Edinburgh or the Lothians. So that's about an hour and 10 minutes away from me. So I took the travel down, and they strapped me up to the monitors that kind of go across your belly. They're little circle devices. So there's one that's for contractions and one that's for tracking your baby's heartbeat. And they just kind of get strapped along your belly with elastic bands. The baby was monitored for maybe an hour and a half, and they were absolutely fine. 140 beats per minute, which is normal for them. They're quite a high heartbeat rate. And then I was seen by the doctor, who asked me just to lie on my left side for a little while, because that can bring on a bit of leakage if there is any, in case there was like a little tear or anything in my amniotic fluid sac. They then done an internal check, which was all fine. They couldn't see any more fluid, and they also took a swab while they were in there just to rule out any kind of infection, which all came back absolutely fine. However, that was on the Thursday, and then on the Friday I had a little bit of a show, which I'm just putting down to the fact that I had a swab, and it maybe disturbed a little bit of the mucus plug that goes around the cervix. So again, I was a bit shocked by this, because I didn't really understand that the mucus plug can come away a long time before your labour, and it can also just take its time gradually coming away. It can be knocked, or a fright or things like that. I didn't speak to anyone about it because I had my midwife appointment, so I just waited till I saw her, and she just reassured me, which was the next day, and she just reassured me that that was normal, and if I saw a bigger show or it had blood or anything in to call her. This is a bit too much information for most people, but the mucus plug, if you don't know, because I didn't is a sort of like when you blow your nose when you're not well, and it's kind of very mucusy and green tinged. Mine was a tiny amount, and a minuscule pee amount, and I think the only reason I noticed was because I was wearing maternity pads, which was suggested by the midwife at the triage department at the Borders, so that if I leaked again I could take the pads in just to be checked. And yeah, it was a minuscule amount. I believe a lot of people have a lot more that can come away just before labour, or 4 weeks before labour, or it can actually happen during labour. And normally the telltale sign that you're going into labour is it's tinged a little bit with blood, as far as what I've been informed now. So yeah, that was pretty much my week. It was a bit strange at times, just because like I said, I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing a lot of the time, which I think a lot of new mums are. I think once the baby gets here I'll be absolutely fine, but I've never went through labour before, and there's just certain things that you're kind of not aware of or not sure. However, what I wanted to say about the waters breaking, that is, if you do have any kind of trickle or anything, it is really important to be seen by your midwife, just because if it is your waters breaking, it can cause infection in the womb. So they like to know as soon as possible. So if you do have any trickling like I had, just double check it. They were really lovely to me at the hospital. The Borders is a great hospital because they're not as busy as the Royal Infirmary in Edinburgh, or the Western, and they see you quite quick. You're not left for a long period of time, which is always nice, and they're always happy for you just to come in and make sure that everything's okay, which in my case it was. So I'll just be monitoring that and seeing how that goes. I still do think though I am going to go full term. I don't think I'm going to come early. So that's my 32-week update. I will come back next week and update you with anything that's been going on in my 33-week update. The only other thing I had this week was my midwife appointment. So my 32-week midwife appointment, which was just a standard checking my bloods. I have a thyroid condition as well, so we regularly check my thyroid blood. We had a listen to the heartbeat, which I'd already had done at the hospital a couple of days before, so that was fine. They checked my measurements, so that the bump measurement that they do, and I was measuring at 32, which is exactly what it was. And they also just had a check through because I was starting my antenatal classes next week, so we went through a bit about where those were, and I'll give you an update on that next week, how they went. My husband will be coming with me. Okay, thanks for watching. If you'd like to like and subscribe, I will be doing one of these hopefully every week up till my birth, and after my birth, just to let you know how it goes. Like I'm going to do one that does my expectations and the reality of it. I'm also going to do a couple of reviews on pregnancy things that I've bought, so in regards to mama things, so things like leggings and jackets, etc., because we're kind of coming into the winter time, and some alternative things that I will be using for the baby. I'm going to do a couple of before and after, so what we bought, where we got them from, and then how they worked after and whether we rated them at all. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.